this week. Today, I'm going to talk about really briefly about strengths and virtues, and this is one of the shorter readings, so I'm just going to have you read with all of it. You don't need to do the sections like you did with the last video, but in this habit, a lot of it is talking about how do we discover our strengths and virtues, but more importantly, how do we live them. So, being happy is not just knowing what your strengths are and knowing what your virtues are, but having them inform the way you live, the decisions you make, the people that you interact with. So, I won't talk about strengths because there's a nice little assessment that you can do on the reading that can help you identify some of your strengths. But I will talk about virtues, and I'm going to give you an example of some and then give you my examples of how I apply them to my life. And hopefully, you can do the same thing for yourself. So, I found a list of 25, and these were kind of 25 virtues that are really in this article, they were suggested as 25 virtues of a successful person or a happy person. And so there's so many more than this, and feel free to use more than I've listed. But of this list of 25, or a list that you come up with, try to select five. Okay, so try to narrow it down. And really, it's not saying that you may not have all these virtues. If you do, that's wonderful. More so, the idea is that you really want to focus in on a couple key ones and focus in on those so that you can use them to influence your life and the decisions that you make. So you'll see there's lots here: honor, family, gratitude, tact. I think I just made family up. It's not on this list. You can still add family if you want to. Generosity, empathy, right? So there's so many that you can think of. And I just want you to pick five and then give an example in your life of why they're important to you, okay? And you could just write that up, and that would be really cool to share. But even if you don't want to share it, that can be part of your journaling for today. I think that would be really impactful. So let me share mine with you. So the first one that I chose is grace. And teaching is the example I'm giving. As a teacher, it's really important to me to have grace for all of you, knowing that, especially now, but even all throughout the year, understanding that your lives are complicated and there's a lot going on, things are busy, and you're having to balance so much. And so for me, it's really important that you understand that I acknowledge that, and I want to give you as many opportunities as I can to be successful. But teaching allows me to practice the virtue of grace every single day. The second one I chose is integrity, and I'm relating this to relationships. I think being strong on your word and following through on your commitments helps you build really strong relationships, and practicing that virtue and honoring that virtue can help you build really strong relationships. And I've seen that in my relationships that are strongest, or relationships that I'm being able to build successfully, being a person of integrity has been really important for being consistent and holding those. The next one is excellence. I'm a very competitive person. I like to do things well. And I really just relate this to the idea of taking every day as a gift, taking life as a gift and using it to be your best. And that doesn't mean perfection, even though I have to convince myself of that because I try to be perfect in some things. But really just focusing on doing the best you can in all that you do, whether that's at home and you're cleaning up, or if that's at school, academics, or your job that you have. I think it's really important to focus on how can I be the best I can be, and if not perfect every day, how can I get better every day in some small way. Gratitude is the next one, so this kind of ties directly into the happiness habit that I talked about the other day. And for me, this comes down to those who came before, and meaning the people in my life who have come before me and helped pave the way. I've been a really fortunate person to have so many mentors and people who have reached in and leaned in to support me and help me. And I think it's important for me to show my gratitude to them, whether that's by thanking them directly or just by being successful. I think that is a testament to their support and to their love and all that they've done for me along the way. And then finally, courage. Is one that I really value, and I relate that to my advocacy. A lot of my advocacy work was in college, where I was doing a lot to fight for students on all fronts, whether it was mental health, sexual assault prevention, all types of things that I really thought it was important to fight those battles. And those battles weren't easy to fight. There's a lot of institutions and things in place that kind of like things to stay the same. But I believe that in order to do the best, in order for systems and institutions like schools to do the best we can for the people we're serving, we have to be courageous. We have to take some risks. We have to challenge the status quo. And so that's something that I will never lose. And that is why courage is important to me. So you can either do one example like I've done here. You can write a longer write something longer about it, right? If one of them particularly just gets you really excited and you're like, oh, I could write so much about this, write a lot about that one and maybe just do two more. Or if you have one and you write like 5 pages on it, just stick to that one. But one of the best ways to explore virtues is to choose one and then see, how does this play out in my life every day? And if you don't see it playing out in your life every day, that doesn't necessarily mean it's not important to you. That just may mean you need to focus on it more and emphasize it more. Or choose another virtue where you're finding like, no, this is coming up all the time. So in today's reading, you'll see a little strengths quiz that you can take. And if you want to share your strengths with me, that's great. But mostly, I'd really love if you'd write something about the different virtues that you have and how they're connected to your life. So I will see you tomorrow with our last habit that we're going to talk about for happiness, and it's flow. And flow is an odd, loose, kind of goosey term, but we'll talk about flow tomorrow. And then you'll be off on spring break. I will be busy prepping for the week of April 20th. I want you to rest and relax and catch up on emails that you may have gotten from your teachers about where we're going and what we're trying to accomplish. So have a wonderful Thursday, and I will see you all tomorrow.